Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another couch video. Upper class, Mr. Goodbars. Oh yeah, I wonder how many videos this will inspire. Anyway, right? And before I even get going, I'm gonna shout out one of my supporters, Boney Southwest, and he did a video uh, called Your Physique and a Woman's Attraction. And, he shared it with me. I said, oh, okay. And he's just getting started. So the link to that video is in the description box. Go check out the video and sub that brother. Let him know Uncle Rom sent you. Yeah, the select sphere is expanding. But anyway, right? Upper class Mr. Goodbars. And I hadn't thought about them because, look, okay, anybody who follows my work know I divide the select into two subgroups, right? And really those two subgroups can be divided even further. You can have like probably up to 24 categories and with them combined, 12 in each, but we won't go there. That gets into some deeper stuff. But y'all know how to divide them into Mr. Goodbar and the Masked Man. Okay, Mr. Goodbar got that raw sex appeal, right? Raw sex appeal. He's basically getting the women because they just take one look at him and, they getting wet. They take one look at him and, they start taking off their panties talking about, I won't be needing these. Basically it's it. He don't have to bring anything else to the table. And it's usually a combination of his facial features. If you limit it to just the black population, maybe a skin complexion, eye color, and you expand it to any group on the planet, his body build. Basically, it's a physical thing. It's a physical thing. And I already said, women get turned on by visuals, right? And then, of course, you got the Masked Man. That's the man who had to build himself up, had to build his body, had to build his looks, and especially build his wealth, money, and wealth, power, and status. And still has some good looks, right? But when I talk about upper class Goodbars, these are guys who just got that raw sex appeal. Now, one of the things is a lot of times people focus on the lower class Goodbars. And everybody's direction is there. They mistakenly call them Pookies and Ray Rays. But if any of them going to be there, usually from like a poor background or something. Usually like those guys who might be like jocks or something, or pretty boys in the hood or something like that. But that's only on one end. See, one thing, when people talk about relationships, people act like it's all one big social class. I'm like, please. And I said this in a previous video or podcast, one of them. Social class plays a big role in relationships, almost a caste relationship, caste system. Because the overwhelming majority of people stay in their social class. Majority of people. Because the social class is more than just economics. It's also a level of behavior. It's a level of thinking. I'm going to tell you what, social class is deep enough. If I was really going to get into it, I'd get into it more on my Deep Thought channel, or would actually do a video, or even do a seminar. Heck, I will do a live speech in front of an audience at a university. That's how deep it gets. And that social class thing ain't no joke. Now, getting back to the Goodbars, guys, those raw sex appeal. A lot of people focus on like the lower end of it, like the guys from, they might be in that 85 octane group or 87 octane group, guys who either just some bums out on the street, or, they might be blue collar. And, it's accurate, though, in a way, but you're talking a small percentage of the overall select population. And even when you talk about the Goodbars, you're talking, I'd say, a slight majority of the Goodbar population, slight majority, but not overall. Because if you talk about class, you got to start moving up. You got to say, okay, if women go crazy over a guy's overall physical appearance, particularly his body, right? That's not limited to the lower class. Think about it. That's not limited to the lower class, and especially not facial features for the women who they do check out facial features. Let's not get past that. And just as a tangent for dudes, focus on that. Getting your body right, actually get your facial features right. I'll have a podcast next week coming that'll kind of address that. But when you talk about just a pure physical thing, pure physical body builds and everything, that's definitely not limited to the lower class. Now, when I say upper class, I ain't necessarily just talking about the 0.1%. That's super, super, super. And I've met some cats there. It's like, I remember one dude, I knew him when I was at American University. And if I called his name, you would reckon and say who his father was. Y'all be like, damn. And in fact, there was one dude there who was tearing up with the women, and I actually mentioned him to cousin T-Talk, but we'll keep that private. But these guys were upper class. The women were loving them on that campus. Women were going crazy over them, right? And they didn't have to present money or anything. They could have been from a poor hood or something. Cause see, one thing with the upper class, Goodbar, and the lower class, you can, as long as if on just a pure physical basis, if you switch them around, women gonna go crazy. In fact, some women who are more upper class will deal with that lower class Goodbar on the low. They'll deal with that upper class Goodbar on the in public. And then that upper class Goodbar, if he wants to, now, if he wants to dip down, like he sees some like hood girl, it's like, all right. Now the only difference is he'll make sure that condom's working. He'll make sure. And probably won't take it home. Hold up. Yeah, something came on. Anyway, right? So who are these upper class Goodbars? Well, understand something. You got to understand the upper class. And anybody who's one, you would have to be in a situation where you're dealing with them to see all of this. Two, you would pretty much have to, be on maybe, like if you see them, you might see them on certain college campuses and stuff. Generally the guys in a frat. Like a lot of those frats are just social things to set people up for the future. And upper class dudes, they're going to get in there. Now, is every one of them a Goodbar? Hell no. But you're going to get some there. See, when you think about something, it makes a big difference where you grow up. If you grow up, like if a dude grows up, and say he grows up, both parents there, they both professionals, they making a lot of money, what they going to do? Well, first of all, if you coming from that background where at least daddy had money, now he could have came from anywhere, but if he had money, first of all, he's going to have a more attractive woman. And not just because he got money, but because he had what it took to get to that level. And that's if he built to it. Now, if he come from it automatically, because we got several generations in the class thing, if he came from that automatically, shit, he's going to have a fine woman. If you look at the social upper classes in a situation, they already stay in very good shape. So, if a man marries that woman, first of all, she's going to be, if I use an example from Insecure, since I've started reviewing it again, the mothers are typically going to look in the range of Tiffany, and the characters Tiffany and Condola. And, and that goes across races, whatever class that is. Like upper class people just look better. Let's just be real. The mother's going to be in shape better and everything. As a result, you're going to get better looking sons. Because let's be real, biology means a lot. And we just got to deal with that. Right? So they already got that. Right? And then because of the social circle they in, they're going to be tending to be around finer women because they're going to be going through private school and everything. Like anybody who's gone to a private high school, even if it was all male or any females listening, all female, you know what you're dealing with. There ain't no hood in there because first of all, you had to pay for it. So that's a different milieu right there. And then the women you're going to tend to deal with. Now, I've said publicly, y'all can look up this high school. When I went to high school, it was Archbishop Curl in D.C. And back in the 80s when I went there, it was like the football team, sports teams were kicking ass. All right. And then when we would party and stuff, it was all boys at the time, but we would party like at places where it was girls' schools and stuff, like all these Catholic schools. And these were some beautiful women. In fact, uh, who did I knew her offhand. We didn't really talk to each other, but we knew who each other were. And that was, no, I ain't gonna call her any names. Let's just say I'll leave it at that. But it's, you get a different type of woman. Now, if you get a guy, now you a guy, and let's say you got that body, you got that height, you got what women call cute. Those guys, shoot, they were tearing up. They were tearing up some women, right? So you started there in high school, but they were more upper class. When I started going there, I started being more exposed. In fact, I had mentioned before, I used to go to Jack and Jill parties, even though wasn't officially a part of that level of the upper class, but still, you hanging out with them. You still hanging out with them. And I've seen that with other people who were in that those social circles, right? So you start in there, you going to all the parties and stuff, and the dudes who women found finer were getting theirs. They were getting theirs, and they were getting theirs from some pretty women. Then they go to college. They'll join some type of frat or something, or be big guys on campus. You tearing up even more. And then go into the professional world. You're going into the professional world tearing up anymore. Now understand. Think about what these guys got. And this is probably the top of the real Sarasco hierarchy. Not Pookie and Ray Ray. Not Pookie and Ray Ray. Or Bubba, or whatever they call it in the Hispanic community or Asian community. Yeah, they get theirs. They get theirs. But you're talking about a guy, the ultimate guy for any woman is a guy who looks good, can turn them on sexually. But then they making six figures. They making money and stuff. They making money. And people know it. And they having a different view of relationships. If y'all doubt what I'm saying, no, check with Kevin Samuels. Kappa Alpha Psi. Check with Alan Roger Curry. Kappa Alpha Psi. They'll tell you. They don't need me. Y'all have to believe Ron. Talk to them. They'll tell you how these dudes are really rolling. And they ain't really mass men in the sense they like living off their money. These are the type of guys who can get to play without the money. That's the key. They don't even have to present their money, but what their money does do, that's like a secondary thing, and that's like icing on the cake. A woman turned out sexually, and he got money, sex appeal and nest appeal, and plus the main thing it does, it just put them in a place of access to better women, more attractive women. So these guys, like I say, these guys can go up and if they want to dip down, go in the hood, mess with that waitress who's like got that fat ass, they can do it. But then go back, get that like natural 92 octane, and depending where they are, some 100 octanes, and still do their thing. Like, think about it. They're already turning the woman out sexually. They don't have to be like a homosexual living at her place. Shoot, they can invite the woman over to where they live. They got their shit going. Now, somebody who's just now I'm gonna tell you what. Sometimes it can be hard to tell but whether that's an actual good boy or a masked man. Sometimes they can get blurred. Like, I give you an example, and this is something even I, who introduced all this, been studying this. Like the character Lawrence on Insecure. I had identified him recently as a masked man. But then I sat down and thought about it some more. I was like, no, he's more upper class. His parents, had something going on, He's more upper class. Yeah, he started off, but as they added to it, it's like, oh, this dude got something. Wait, hold on again. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going on in the background. Anyway, right? Yeah, so Lawrence, he's more of that upper class good boy. And I'm gonna tell you what, that's something they just exist. They just exist. Like someone couldn't move to that. Like if you didn't come from that background, boom. But they still exist whether people like it or not. You know, because a lot, like I said, a lot of times people try to focus on the lower class dudes. You know, maybe in an attempt to like feel better than them. But how do you deal with these guys? They get up there. These are masters of the universe. These are masters of the universe. They got the height that women like. They got the facial features, the body structure. Because trust me, partying. I was at a pool party with these dudes. It was just like, I never forget that stuff. These guys look, they might look a certain way, then they get in the trunks and stuff, and they look like they'll fuck you up. In fact, some were practicing martial arts moves at this one thing. So they got all that stuff that supposedly Pookie and Ray Ray have. But they got the class, they got the background. They don't have a bunch of kids or anything. And the women don't have kids because, well, at that level, one, they're extremely protective. They'll be on birth, the women will be on birth control and everything. Yeah, that knocked up thing don't really work at that level. But the guy's gonna be protective of their joint and they're gonna be picky about it. And see, they got all those things. Shoot, the women go crazy over. Now, honestly, I'm just sharing that. I ain't sharing that to say, oh yeah, run out and try to do that. That's unfortunate because that class thing is deeper than just making some money. It's unfortunate. It's a strong, very strong genetic quality to it. And I mentioned that someplace, and I might have talked about it on my Deep Thought channel, but it's deeper than people realize. Like I'll say it like this: sometimes you can look right at a person and give an idea about their class, and I say a person I could do it with a 90-degree amount of accuracy. It's very easy. You know, anybody's been around it because getting back just to the class thing again, maybe I'll do something else on it. But you got to take it in consideration in these relationships. That's why I always say, whenever people bring up, like, say, Pookie and Ray, right? I'm saying, these women don't cross classes like that. The only way they'll mess with it, like the upper class will mess with them, is if that dude is fine as hell. Seriously, and that goes across the board. And even then, he better be quiet. He got to be discreet. They ain't gonna let you see him in public. But then you get those guys who got that physical attraction for a woman and physical attraction and money. Good Lord. It's like a damn paradise for them motherfuckers. Seriously. That's like a paradise for them. And that's just it. It's like, and yeah, I just wanted to share that. See, like I said with all of this, because you get a lot of people talking select, non-select, but one, I introduced it here, and two, I've had over 20 years to actually research it like formally, to do what's called qualitative research, like actually interview people, like actually observe them, like field research, not just relying on just something I read on the internet, but actually talk to these guys, actually was in there. In fact, I probably need to do an episode on qualitative research. Seriously, because people keep forgetting. People keep forgetting. I mentioned American University. That was the graduate level. Went to St. Joseph's, and I'm just putting this out here because what I'm seeing is a lot of people are talking about stuff, but if you really ask them, okay, well, how you know it? And it's like, well, I read this. I was like, okay, how much research did you actually do? Because that's what counts. Field research. Field master raw. So anyway, I get back with y'all. Check out that brother's channel. His link is in the description box. Boney Southwest. Hey, we're going to build this select sphere. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace.